Hello, my name is John Cawdell, and my testimony today is perhaps a bit different, but nevertheless I hope will be of interest to you, for it is about the history of the Bible. My life has changed because on visits to Brazil I've been inspired by pastors to study the Bible more deeply. My wife and others have also encouraged me. In our Bible studies at New Life Church last year, we learned that the Bible was written between 2500 BC and 100 AD. It was written by over 40 authors, including kings, prophets, and even a tent maker. And my studies have continued since then to the current day. For example, the Bible was originally written in one long text with no chapters or verses. Monks in the Middle Ages used to produce brilliant illustrated manuscripts, and considering the Bible has 763,000 words, it must have been a lifetime's achievement. 8 miles from here, there's a little hamlet called Langton by Wragby, and there, in 1150, someone called Stephen Langton was born, who became Bishop Stephen Langton. He is perhaps best known for being a signatory to the Magna Carta, which guaranteed Englishmen's rights, particularly against wrongful arrest or habeas corpus. Stephen Langton was a prolific reader and writer, and he took it upon himself to divide the Bible into chapters and verses. It has to be said that some of his chapters and verses are a bit random, and other clerics attempted the same, but it seems to have been Langton's efforts which have prevailed. Then, in 1450, a German, Johannes Gutenberg, invented the moving type printer, which revolutionised the production of books and particularly the Bible. And in such an explosion of the production of Bibles, it is inevitable that typos have occurred. And there have been some real howlers over the years. For example, in 1613, what became known as the Judas Bible was produced, where in the book of Matthew, the word Jesus was inadvertently typed as Judas. The Bibles were recalled and a small piece of paper stuck over the offending word. 11 copies of those Bibles still exist today. But worse was to follow. For in 1631, what became known as the adulterous Bible was produced, where in the book of Genesis, the 3-letter word not was omitted from one key sentence. The sentence should have read, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." The courts were unforgiving, and the printer, Robert Barker, was fined £300, which was an enormous amount of money in those days, and he died in prison 15 years later. I think the sentence was a bit harsh for a human inadvertent error. At home, I have a copy of the King James version of the Bible. In the preface, a glowing tribute is paid to King James, but it contains the words, "The truth shall not be traduced by popish persons," which seems a bit unchristianly. But of course, at the time the Bible was produced, Protestants had split away from the Roman Catholic Church because the Catholic Church was selling salvation to rich people for a lot of money. Now, I'm sure this practice finished hundreds of years ago, so it's sad that in parts of the world Catholics and Protestants still hate each other. The Bible has been produced in over 5 billion copies. A billion is 1,000 million, 9 noughts. The Bible has been translated into over 120 languages. The Bible has had 88,000 versions produced. I believe that such a significant book is worthy of consideration and has inspired billions of people to follow the word of God, and I give thanks that I am one of those people. Thank you for listening to me.